Work-life balance improves productivity. It's a myth.
Come on, Nadu. Work-life balance improves productivity. It's not a myth. It's a reality.
No, Manju, it's a myth.
No way, Raghu. It's reality.
Good, Manju. We achieved what we wanted. The audience have understood that next session is going to be a big debate. Instead of debating us, we'll call our expert panel today.
That would be great, Raghu. Now we welcome Mr. P.V. Ramaswamy, popularly known as Vidya, the Managing Director of Eklavya Corp, to join us in this conference. Mr. P.V. is a famous author for many books in Tamil. So we request you to be the moderator of the debate.
We request the following speakers to join us on stage for the big debate. Ms. Gunit Singla, proprietor of Anti-Sanskrit, Dr. Venkatesh Natarajan, nephrologist and renal specialist, Mr. Srinivasa, Raghavan, principal, Bala Vidya Mandir, Mr. Satyanarayanan, vice president and global delivery head of CSC. With this, we hand over this session to Sir.
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
It's really surprising. Having made the statement here, driving project success through improved work-life balance, I have two people who are familiar to say it's wrong. It's just a myth to expect anything out of it. And to show, no, these PMI people are really good, they're a think tank, and they do things only after much deeper thoughts, they are thought leaders, and what they have written is correct. In order to prove that, we have two friends here. And I am given the task of being the Solomon Papaya in this group. And to look like Solomon Papaya, first I wore the glasses, appearance almost came near that. Then I felt that I had to go and color my hair also into white. I did that. But then when I put my trousers and shirt on, well, it didn't match. So I wanted to run it in my own way. How we are going to do it? Allow me to consult my notes also once or twice in between. It will not be taken as copy. First, to establish it is a reality. There is improved productivity because of this. Gunit will introduce the talk by establishing that yes, it is real. She will take about 6-7 minutes. After that, immediately, Dr. Venkatesh, he will show that it is just a myth. He will also take about 6-7 minutes. After that, again, Satya will talk for, and then Raghavan will talk against one. Then one of them will come and summarize the points and add some new points also. I have the privilege of giving the opening remarks and also interrupting as and when I feel like, and also see, I have to follow Solomon Papaya at least once in a while. And at the end of it, I am also expected to give my conclusion. So for opening remarks, I would like to say what is the purpose of a human being being born on the earth. Morning we heard an elephant does not do any work for its living. I do not know whether it is true or not, but elephant also does the work. It may not have a boss, it may not have a family to support to, but it has to go hunt its own food and it has to eat. That also does the work. But is there a question, great question, an elephant or a horse undergoing work-life balance? Only in the case of the human being, life is born in order to create wealth. If you are in an employment, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are doing a service, or if you are working for somebody, if you are getting a remuneration for that, do not feel embarrassed about it. A man is born on earth to create wealth. How to create wealth? In the most ethical way. Is the most ethical way alone do? No. He has to create the way in the ethical way by nurturing the Panchabhutas. What are the Panchabhutas? The air, the fire, the sky, the ether. So all these things, the natural resources, it has to be nourished. So in turn, they nurture us. When something is done in a wrong way, exactly in the traffic jams that we see, somebody will go through the wrong side, then you will get a choked traffic. Similarly, when you play with the natural resources, you also reap the wrong results. Therefore, the man is born to create wealth. But when creating wealth, the man also got into the habit of falling for a spouse, obeying the spouse, also having the result productivity shown there, where it was only 2 members at the time of marriage. Within a year, there is a 33% increase. At least one child comes to the life. And then you have a school fee to be paid. Before that, there is a kindergarten. There itself one has to pay. So one has to work for more. One has to bring in more money. Where is the balance between these two things? This is what is being spoken about. So there is nothing wrong in earning. You are doing a job that has been ordained on you in the Indian culture, not only Indian culture, all over the world. Every man is expected to make money. Don't feel sorry about it. Only sannyasis. I don't think even sannyasis don't need the money. Raghavan still runs the best of the hospitals. Chinmaya Mission runs one of the best kind of schools, educational institutions, hospitals. So even the so-called godmen, they need money to run these things. So making money is not a crime. Please make it in the right way. So with these remarks, may I request Gunit to start the session.
Hello. Good afternoon to all. Are you expecting me to start by quoting Hillary Clinton, Mark Zuckerberg, Indra Nooyi, Arul? Well, I'm not going to quote them because big people make fantastic quotes. I'm going to quote Gunit Singla. Do you know Gunit Singla? Gunit Singla, me, director, Uncle Sam's Kitchen, mother of 2 children, wife to 1, running a very successful enterprise. And I'm not talking about quoting. I'm going to talk about what I have done, which has helped me reach that work-life balance. So no talk, just want to share some tips with you. I hope that they make you believe that work-life balance is the only way to increase our productivity. I reached Chennai about 23 years back from 3,000 kilometers away. I was in Delhi, married a chef. Our first posting on the wedding day was to Chennai. I couldn't believe my eyes and ears that God had done this to us. Reached here, no family, no friends, don't know anybody. Best thing to do is drown yourself in work. Well, that's what my employer, J. Walter Thompson, thought I would do. I joined the HTA, which is India's #1 advertising agency, and they thought all I'm going to do is work. So they put me on to the Citibank account. Citibank was their topmost account. The city never sleeps, and nor did I. That's what happened. They never slept, nor did I, and the work-life balance started to shake. This was not the dreams that I had for myself. And 2.5 years later, when they gave me a promotion, can you imagine what I did? I quit. I quit to start an outdoor catering company, which is now called Uncle Sam's Kitchen. My first and very important point is to realize, to be in touch with yourself. That's very important. If you want any kind of progress or harmony or development, you have to be in touch with your inner voice. It is really telling you what you want to do. We have grown up hearing all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Then why do we let that voice drown, getting caught in those kind of things? Well, I heard my inner voice and I wanted to create the balance and harmony, and I quit my job and started my own enterprise. Little did I know I was jumping from the pan into the fire. More importantly, I also realized that to make Big changes, you have to take small changes. They're not very comfortable all the time. I had got a 10,000 rupee raise from JWT in year 1994. 10,000 was a lot of money. I gave that up to start an enterprise, to take the risk in a new city, in a place where I knew nobody. And very importantly, a timely step which I took helped my development. And let me tell you further what happened. Uncle Sam's Kitchen started in about 1997. We only did outdoor catering and it saw meteoric growth. Chennai was just opening up. There was nobody who did hospitality like us. We did international food at amazingly great prices. A surrogate hostess came along. Chennai loved the experience and Uncle Sam's Kitchen reached right up there. There was really no family at that time, no in-laws, no children. It was so good that in 1998, my husband quit his ITC job and joined me and we combined our strengths together.
You should have also called me. Now what you have said is, if you are employed, work-life balance goes for a toss.
Yes, it does.
That time you should start your own business. At that time you did not call me to be your partner. And then you called your husband to be there to enjoy the life. You never asked me to come there and help you and take some profits.
Because I saved you for coming and enjoying our food. If everybody would work, who would enjoy the balance of eating it? More importantly, what I realized was that when we had a baby in 1999, and that's for all you ladies who were speaking about mothers-in-law, children, it's very real. Our business was about 3-4 years old, a little stable, and it allowed us to take chances to be missing from work off and on to look after the baby. It's sounding very hunky-dory. She gives a job, she starts a business. It's not so hunky-dory. Believe me, entrepreneurial work can be more challenging. You may have one boss, we have hundreds. Even the watchman at my gate is my boss. And if he doesn't come, believe me, I've got to go there and stand and make sure my stuff is not going out without my knowledge. That's when I also realized that a little bit of planning at the right time can help this balance become better. To tell you the truth, it was not so easy. The first time that we bagged 1,000 people party order for the Millennium New Year, my baby was screaming outside the door. I had gone inside my bedroom, then into the bathroom and locked the door, let her scream because I needed 3 minutes with the client. So believe me, guilt happens to all of us. What is it that we do with that guilt is more important. And that's what we're talking about, and that's what creates little changes or little steps which help that balance. It also made me realize something very important that day. Actually, that was the day I realized support systems. The next day, I started looking for a maid who would be at home when I was not there. I requested my mother-in-law, believe me, they can be very useful, very helpful, and I requested her to please keep dropping in, my own mother to keep dropping in to help. So take support. Be that support for your friends at work, and those supporters at home and at work will help you when the time is right. We have to create our support systems. Without that, no entrepreneurship, no project management, nothing works. We all need our support systems. Go ahead and do that. I've written these points because I do want to emphasize that these little journeys that we have taken, for us, every day is a new project. You do a project for 6 months, 8 months, a year. I do a one-day cricket match. I start my party in the morning. The wedding function is in the evening. I have to win. I am talking somebody's life's earnings, somebody's most memorable event, which we are catering to. And all of you will know. All of you will know the menu that was served today and will remember it if the food is good. So I have a huge responsibility, and project management on a daily basis is what our company does. And I realize that all of this put together is what is going to help my development, also help me do a better balance. Balance is something which we are constantly working at. It doesn't happen today and then we can relax and chill out. It doesn't happen like that. It's also not sequential. You can't say, I'll work 30 years, then when I'm 65, I'll take my wife for that holiday she's been screaming about, and my children's post-graduation event I will join. It cannot be. They need you now, they need you today. When I was leaving for this place, I had to be here by 1 o'clock. And when I was about to start the ignition of the car, my son came running, Amma, Amma, Mama. I said, no, 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 they want me to be there at 12:45. It's already 12:30 and my house is close by. And he said, Amma, but you have to listen to me, you have to listen to me. So I said, okay, okay. I'm going to talk on work-life balance. Let me at least hear what he has to say. He wanted to give me a kiss. It took 1 second, and I'm a happier mother, and I'm being able to talk to you with my hand on my heart. Because sometimes it only takes a second to put things right, and the whole day will be much, much better. So go ahead and take that 1 minute, 1 second to smell the roses. Sometimes it takes only that much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Come back for more.
See, being an entrepreneur, if some of us think that that is the panacea, it's not so. Just like an atheist does not, cannot blame the fate or the God for a failure. The entrepreneur cannot say, my boss was rude, or my company has turned its culture, habit has changed, let me see a new company. Those excuses they do not have at all. So if they succeed, they also have many bosses. At least in the organized sector, you have only one boss and one super boss. Rest of them are all colleagues, senior colleagues, junior colleagues. But in the case of an entrepreneur or a service provider like Dr. Venkatesh here, see how they have aligned. Here is an entrepreneur who goes and says that the balancing of the work and life is really producing the results, and it's so good. Dr. Mandir is going to tell you, Salami. Dr. Venkatesh. And he is on his own. It is his own establishment he is running, so he is also having experience.
Okay. A very good afternoon to all of you. So since morning, I think most of you have been listening to this work-life balance nonsense. Okay. What did you hear from Ms. Gunit? She has been a very successful entrepreneur. And did you come to hear that productivity really improved in her life because of the great work-life balance? I don't think so. She has been fired by her employer. Right? And then she said that, okay, I'm going to start something on my own. And she went on her own because she placed her priorities differently. She made her life as her priority, and the work was a secondary priority. So work and life, there are two different terms. How you define it? The context here is productivity. Whose productivity? If you're working for a company, the company certainly is not going to look into the fact, oh, he's got 2 kids, he's got children to take care of, he's got an old mother, he needs to take care of this. All of your project managers, how many of you factor that in your projects? Right? You don't do that, right? You don't say, oh, this guy, he's a fat guy, so I need to give him an ergonomically designed chair. Let him have a great work-life balance, because when he goes back home, he should have all the energy and he should be able to sleep in bed comfortably with his wife. Right? So, would we really think that that is the management principle? No, I don't think so. Is man designed to work? No, it's unnatural. We don't work. Why?
That is an excellent point. So man is not designed to work at all.
So you don't wake up in the morning, you don't wake up in the morning and go
I
to
wish
work.
you have brought your bosses here so they hear this.
One of the reasons, see, there are certain professions which by nature cannot have balance. You can either have work or you can either have life. I happen to be in one such profession. Right? So to quote an example, my daughter, very rarely I take her to her school. So once I dropped her to school. So a teacher came and asked me, Dr. Venkatesh, how are you doing? I said, I'm fine. How is my daughter? How she's studying and all that. So she said, she's sleeping in the class most of the time. Then I was a bit upset about it, and then I asked her, why do you think so? She says, your phone goes off every day in the night time, from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. You're always getting hospital calls, and that is disturbing me. Then I decided, okay, that this is I'm not having a great work-life balance. I need to do something about this. So from that time onwards, what do you think I would have done? I started sleeping alone with the phone. So there is no work has to go on. I mean, if any meaningful work has to be done, sacrifices have to be made. I mean, nobody is going to create Da Vinci cannot create a Mona Lisa without having a work. You can't have 5 mouths to feed at home, 4 o'clock on the dot, go back, keep the wife happy. It's not going to work, right? If you have a project and you have a schedule and your clients up there in the United States are after your heels, you're not going to sleep. You're going to take work back home, right? So they don't reconcile. So work-life balance is a myth, right? It is your priorities that makes the difference. So if you really have to design that in my life, there has to be my life, and work is only part of it. Then you can think in terms of leading your life. But here the priorities are entirely different. A man is made to do an unnatural thing. You need to work and you need to make money. And in the opening remark, Sir said that we are all here to make wealth. How many of you believe that? It is not the purpose of man to make wealth. Nobody knows what is our purpose. How many of you know what is the true purpose of your life? Had you known your true purpose of life, most of you would not be sitting in this room. That's a fact. And Ms. Gunit has been extremely, I would say extremely lucky to one of those persons who can have our passion translate into work. So for her, there is no work, there is only life. Our life is her work, right? So she can't be talking about work and life improving productivity. So that I totally disagree with that. But consider the situation of somebody who lives in a high flyer, a business class, suited guys, the suits. Sorry for all those guys. The suits, we hate the suits, right? And as doctors, we have extremely bad impression about suits. So, see, for example, yesterday night we had to do a transplant, which went on really bad, and the patient got sick, and we got stuck till 4 o'clock. We left 4 a.m. in the morning, and Viswa had told, okay, we have this, don't forget it, we need to be there, and all that. So I had to rush back. So on the way out, one of the coordinators, I would say I call him a chief, whatever the CEO, CFO, I'm not very comfortable with those terms. You call that CFO of the hospital just called me and said, Dr. Venkatesh, these numbers don't add up. We have dropped our number of transplants this month. What would be the possible reason for this? And I was the transplant director of the hospital, so I'm supposed to be technically responsible and answer that question. Right? And all I did is I closed my eyes, take a deep breath, mindfulness exercise, my back was hurting, and all that. I don't have great work-life balance, so what should I do? That doesn't strike you, right? So work means money. It is equated to money. So if you allow governments and corporates to design your work, you will have only work. There won't be any life. Right? It is up to you. It is up to you. It is up to you to strike that. There is no question of balancing. Either add your life and make work a little bit part of it, and you have to make your living. Or think about meaningful work and forget about your life. Right? You can't reconcile. These two are opposite to each other. By nature, they are the positives and the negatives. They are the anode and the cathode. You can't really reconcile them. Without opening salvo, I think we'll come back for more.
I'm actually seeing brainwashing happening so frequently. Just when she was saying the productivity is increasing, and it is going to a very heightened level because of the work-life balance. You clap. You all clap and enjoyed it, more of it. Then I had to stop her and make her come here. He comes and says, my God, where is the productivity? It was the same level then also, now also. She was looking for joy in the job. That's why she got a change in the job. Now every guy who eats out of her hands comes and says, very happy, thank you. So she is joyful. So what she was seeking was something different. That's what he said. Correct? Now, sir, your job is very tough. Satya, I don't know how we are going to say productivity increases because of this, what is it called?
Smell of rose.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. While I enjoy myth, I stay rooted in reality. 3 questions, 3 assumptions, 3 thoughts, and some salt and pepper peppered in between. We have got a kitchen going. Question number 1 to the audience. How many of you have come here today, paying some money, whatever it is, thinking that you are going to gain something? Can you please raise your hands?
All of them.
All of them. You have gotten it.
All of them. Others are complimentary.
Second question to Prasanna or Kaushik. Prasanna, you had volunteers for this program? They are all jobless or they are working somewhere? They are fully working. Yet they found time to conduct such a conference.
Is there a difference between being jobless and not having work?
But my question here is straightforward and simple. You found so many
Can I ask you how many
did
people are working in your office?
let me complete with my flow. People have put their time apart from their designated work to make this conference happen. Am I right? Yes. And this happen only once or you do it every now and then?
Fifth time.
Okay. Third question to you, sir. You are a nephrologist. You are running a hospital. For the last 4 hours, where are you been? Where have you been?
Away from his patients.
Away from his patient, away from his work, keeping time for you, keeping time for something that he really wants to do to the society. So when we combine all these answers, you see, people are able to work to earn some livelihood. People are able to work, which is their passion, and some people are able to find passion in work, passion in non-work. I think I can rest my arguments here itself, but I've got another 5 minutes to lay clear the assumptions. Assumption number 1.
Beautiful. You have won already. But still,
Assumption number 1. Work life, the very definition, the very term is, morning somebody was questioning it. I look at it differently. I take this privilege with your kind permission, PVR sir, that work and non-work, or work for livelihood and work for non-livelihood might be a better, because life is much, much bigger than work. If you say work life, we concede the fact that there is no life in work. I don't agree with it. Many of my team members have come here, they see me day in and day out, where I bring life, where I infuse energy into work. So the very term, the very definition has to be different. We do certain things for earning money, sir, being a moral millionaire. I'm fine with that. Yet we find our passion. We do a PMI activity. We run for Chennai floods. We do something or the other, which is our passion. So rather than calling it as work-life balance, a balance between you do various things that you juggle around. A human being, sir, you are a doctor. You know that we are a complex personality. We are multifaceted, multi-talented people who do not restrict ourselves to only one thing. We satiate our needs with so many things, work being one of them. The second thing is, this is a PMI conference. There are at least out of the 360 members, if I go by stats, there should be about 275 PMPs, am I right? Can you raise your hands, all the PMPs? Most of them are PMPs. And I would like to limit this discussion not to an artist, not to a Kamal Hassan or a Virat Kohli or somebody else, or a Modi or somebody, because they live their life in only one thing. We as project management professionals, we have a different thing to do. And somewhere along the line, I would like to subscribe to what PMBOK says. Right? There is a project management body of knowledge. You as project managers estimate majority of the people here would be belonging to that category. The third assumption that I would be restricting is you are living in a society which is more closer to your own. Because I read a thesis yesterday where an expatriate living in US, 460 of them, when you take an analysis, their challenges, their work and non-work balances are different. So I would like to restrict this discussion to people who are more closer to their native, people who earn by doing some work, and people finding time to do something other than that. And that way, all of you, when you go back home, you all came with a goal that you will learn something today. And the message that I want to give you here is, as project management professionals, when you design projects, when you do an estimation, when you do that human management, when you do communication and all those kind of stuff, are you able to factor that in as per the PMBOK that you studied and the 4-hour exam that you took? If you are not doing it, then it is your problem. Revisit the PMBOK, absorb those principles. You don't have to take the exam. PMI is not forcing you to take the exam. But are we bringing those principles into work is the question that we need to do. So 3 questions, 3 assumptions that will now let me get on to the subject. There is a physics professor amongst us. He teaches. He's a principal, but he teaches. The question that I would like to ask him is in quantum mechanics.
Sir, he only asked questions.
No, I
Nobody can question.
I concede to Solomon Papaya. In quantum mechanics, we find that electrons are situated at various orbits and they are called as ground state. When an electron gets excited, it is supposedly in a higher energy state, and sir, it cannot sustain that for a long time. Am I right? The electron has to release a quanta or a packet of energy and come back to the normal state. So, if you are having an imbalance, that imbalance has to be temporary, it cannot be eternal. Even an electron motion, me as a human being, can't I know that? If I am in an excited state for a project which is critical, let me be excited for 3 months. My family is not going to desert me. They know that I will come back. My society knows that I will be coming back. But then once I come back, I am normal. So at different stages in life, at different parts of the life, we have to carefully juggle these equations around. Second thing that I want to say, 2012, we had a project management national conference conducted by our PMI. It was on sustainability. Whatever we want to do, the mantra today, can we sustain it for a longer period of time? Morning, some of them talked about the various disease, diabetes, and this and that, and all that. The reason being, if you are having a short spell of energy where you have disrupted the balance, the rhythm in you, you cannot sustain it forever. You need to come back to that normal state. Work life or work non-work balance is achievable. I will complete with a film climax. Going back a few years down the line, this film was there in the TVs a few days ago. Kandu Konde. The hero, one of the heroes, Ajit, goes for a long period of hiatus where he tries to make a successful film. His love is lost. Tabu. He is a software engineer trying to fly out into California. Finally, he comes back, all that typical melodrama in the film industry, and he cries, Soumya, all this success doesn't have a value if you are not with me, and then they unite. Morning we talked about yoga. Yoga means huge, means union. So Ajit and Tabu have to unite for a very, very successful thing. What I am trying to conclude here is the balance is achievable, and once that balance is achieved, it is sustainable, and in the long term, that is what is going to increase the productivity, not short spells of interim success. Thank you.
Satya has really played to the game. First, he captured you all by talking in your lingo. That itself we all fell for. Then I thought he is going to show the numbers of productivity increase that is happening because see, this is here at this time, this is at this side. When I match them, the productivity graph has gone northwards. I thought that is what is going to come. It might have come, I don't know. Probably I think I am not, by everything I don't write those exams. I could not see that. But he being a teacher, I don't know whether the students listen to him well or not. But all the parents of the teacher, they absolutely lap up anything and everything he says. Now he is going to come and show that both on the sides, they should not be trusted. And he is going to show how the lifelong balance is a myth. Just like what Dr. has done. Yes, teacher. Guruji, I.
Good afternoon, everybody. How many of you have got the point that work-life balance is required in this group? Required. Maybe you need a little bit more time to raise your hands. So I don't see many hands coming up.
No, if you announce the result now itself, you will make me jobless.
That's what I'm telling. So
Okay,
that
don't
clearly says that there is a lot of confusion in the minds of most of us that work-life balance is it really required or not required? If it is required, is it productive or not productive? Okay. So now if you see that again, it is complementary. Work and life are complementary. As the previous speakers have told that if you take one, the other one takes a back seat and vice versa. And my dear friend spoke about the electron. It goes to the excited state and it will come back to the ground state. That is the law of nature. Okay? The myth is there already. Myth is there already. Okay? You don't need to explicitly say that. Law of nature always has the myth.
Where there is excitement, there is productivity.
Yes. No. Many of us feel that there is also less productive.
But I am talking about, see, even in cricket matches, when you find your favorite player is there at the batting end, you are sure of the cup being won. That's what I mean.
So that is one. And second thing is when it comes to what we call work, we talked about the money part of it. The other one, when it comes to life, there is no money part of it. Okay. In my opinion, productivity rests with an individual. The ability of the individual to give results. All of us cannot give the same result as expected by others. You cannot control the society. You cannot control the people everywhere and expect that. And you cannot think about work-life balance of others when it comes to work. You can talk only about your work-life balance and not about others when it comes to work. You can only think about the work. Okay? And next thing is humans are not electrons. Humans are not electrons. And when it comes to your normal life, reality is something different. Many of you agree that work-life balance is reality. I disagree with that. Some of you might have experienced that it is something very different. Only those who have experience, very few of us would have gone through the tough time where this might have taken a toss. Okay? My example of recent experience, what I went through an year before in the organization is that when you want to achieve something for the society or something, you need to have problem. Whether it is productive or not, that is different. But there is a problem. Life will not come there. When I say life, we normally think about only the individuals, the self or the family. It's not about that. The productivity on the whole is what is to be viewed, and not the individual or only the family. So when we are involving, is it the productivity of the family or is it the productivity at the workplace have to be taken. Work life leads to increased productivity where? Where? That's a big question. Okay, so that is another point to be thought by us. And when it comes to this kind of confusion, it's really a myth. And between the stimulus and the response, there is a short time where we have to understand that it is only a myth. And sometimes it may appear that it is reality. So, in my opinion, what happens is that productivity is not just the technical term that we take. In terms of academics, for example, we spend a lot of time with the children. We cannot guarantee the productivity. We cannot guarantee. It is only the individual. We can only put our work. And the life part of it is also taken care of. We give everything, but productivity in life is there, productivity in the result is there. That's a question. That's a question. I cannot determine how far it will be productive when it comes to my job, or the teacher's job, or your job. We cannot predict. We can only do our job. We can only touch certain part of life, and it is up to the rest to take care of that. Okay, so I cannot say that I am highly productive, I have balanced work and life.
They have tried it. Appraisal time, they have tried it.
Okay, so as a management or people who deal with many people, I would like to tell one of the examples that we have gone through. So considering the work of all these things in our school, we said let us take a social responsibility and take teachers along with children to the temple and do all these things, cultural activity, something on an off day. What the teachers say, they come here, they do the job and then they go. It is not productive because it comes under compulsion. We may organize some events. We may organize some events, considering that it has got to do with the life. But event happens, but productivity fails. Okay, with that note, I thought work life may or may not have productivity. It's a myth. Thank you.
I think he has established, in spite of the subordinate, in spite of the boss, and in spite of the family, some of productivity is happening. Okay, but to link it to the, this work and life balance is a myth. That he has established nicely. But Satya is not a man to give up that easily. He will now summarize both his, as he was starting, he was taking copies, notes, and he was consulting. He is going to, for word by word, for every tick and comma, he is going to be fitting it.
So I think the second inning starts now. Perhaps during my first innings, I had established certain ground rules, and I would like to quickly revisit them, recap them. When we say, we heard some arguments like man is not meant to work, etc. I don't know where such philosophies are evolved. Because I go back into the morning session, somebody was very fondly recalling Song Celestial, the Bhagavad Gita, where it is said that action can never be avoided. All the time you keep doing something or the other. Whether that something is a livelihood or not is the question. And whether what kind of a balance that you are going to achieve by them is the next question. We have already very, very clearly proved that any kind of an imbalance can only be for a short term. So over a period of time, balance has to be achieved. And sir, when we say that man is not an electron, I am very, very happy to know that. I was under the impression man is made of a bundle of billions of electrons, and somewhere in my vague memory I recall that in a very, very distant galaxy, if an electron spin turns away, the direction of a billiard ball turns in this universe. So there's an influence of the electron on the human being, which according to the science of physics is well established. But if we all do concede that is something beyond the electrons, protons and neutrons in a human being, we call it as spirituality. I'm even more rejoicing because then our subject matter is completely going to be different. If we for a moment take that spirituality as something beyond all this material thing is existent, from morning we have been hearing about Upanishads, we have been hearing about Gita, we have been talking about Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Ekagrata, Samadhi and all that. It is talking of a higher state of existence. If you are in that higher state of existence, it is called as being in the zone. A Michael Jordan is supposedly in the zone when he shoots all those goals. So any human being is capable of, fitted with an ability to go into the zone. Sir was teaching us a little bit of meditation during the 10 minutes. We all felt rejoiced and we were feeling some energy flowing in us. So it is very much established all this session throughout this day that there is an unwinding possible. And assume that I am sitting in 9 hours in an office and 9 hours at home and doing any other thing. During that 9 hours in the office, can I be more productive? First of all, there has to be a rhythm. We all consider to the fact that there has to be a rhythm. There is something that we do for work and something we do for non-work. And within the work, if I have the capability to deliver it fast, which is what yoga is all about, which is what samadhi is all about. The last thing in Patanjali, samadhi is not burial of the dead. Samadhi simply means samadhi. The di there being the intellect, and sama talks about equanimity. So if your mind is balanced, if you have achieved that state, you are supposedly in the zone. Way back in the year 1972, a young gentleman who was a PhD graduate in a famous Penn State University in US, one day was very much surprised that he had thoughts in his mind. He was shocked that thoughts were flowing in his mind, and he started observing what was going on. So over a period of time, he came across several neuroscientists to know what was going on. So he came to know two things. He came to know that when we are idle, our mind gets into a DMN or a default mode network. That means our mind is running behind gossips, our mind is running behind empty things. And then there is another network called as TPN or thought positive network. So if you have got the capability to reach the TPNs more often than the DMNs, you will be operating in this zone, which is all about the samadhi and yoga and all that kind of a stuff. And automatically you will be able to achieve higher productivity. What work can be done in 8 hours, you can done it in half the time. So I rest my argument by saying two things. You need a balance between what you do for livelihood and non-livelihood. And within what you do for work, if you are doing hard work rather than smart work, then that's your problem. Today you have learned so many techniques, so many powerful techniques which help you to use your mental faculty all the stronger. The reason why EQ or emotional quotient is highly emphasized than an IQ or an intelligent quotient is for the very same reason. If you are able to develop your mental faculty, you will be able to deliver your work faster, your productivity will be higher. And obviously, I think you will all conclude with me by having a big round of applause right now. And if you don't believe in it, you have to come for this conference again by paying 3,000 or 3,000. Thank you.
I think for delivering the next film's punchlines, many writers should be sent to him. Not all his writers. He concludes with the punchlines. Now, Doctor.
It's extremely sad that we got lost in semantics. I don't understand half the argument where productivity figures in this.
Everyone mesmerized.
How many of you are here because coming to this conference would be better on your CV? It's a company requirement, it's a company policy that you need to attend so many hours of training. Some must be. I'm not sure all of you are voluntarily here out of free will on a Sunday to learn how to balance work and life and improve productivity from my office. None of us want to do that because it is not in our nature. Our nature is not to go and work. And he said that the primary responsibility, no human being wants to work. Laziness is born within us. It's all why you wrote Patanjali? Why you wrote the song Celestial? So they were jobless people that wrote something. They didn't work with software companies. It's a fact of life. Work means money. Work means time. And time is a finite resource. You have 24 hours. How much time you're going to provide to your family? How much time you're going to provide to your children? How much you're going to give it to your office? It depends upon how much money you can make. All right. So fundamentally, it's a skewed argument. You can't say that there is a balance between work and life. You can either choose work or you can choose life. I tried doing that once. I stayed at home for 3 months, and once the money ran out, I decided to go back to work. So, achieving an higher mental faculty, it takes the same, several janmas. You're born as an earthworm, you're born the mood of those of you are reading, you would know. You don't want to get to all that higher faculty to achieve work-life balance in this life, in this moment, today, in the reality. What is the reality? There is no work-life balance. Either I choose life or I choose work. I can't have both. That is a fact of life. Because whose productivity are we aiming to improve? I'm not trying to improve my productivity by spending time with my family. Right? The productivity that we are talking about, why the companies invest so much of money trying to encourage you to do yoga, you do meditation so that you can come back and work at a higher mental plane.
And we spend so much time with the family, even they may tell you, hey, we want to read a book and what's the
Everyone. So it cannot be balanced. Companies don't pay you money for free. Companies give you training program for what? They want your productivity goal. And tell me one scientific study where it has been controlled. What doctors famously, what we are interested in is what is called randomized control trial. Take 100 bakras this side, 100 bakras put. You train them on work-life balance. You don't train them on work-life balance and see, compare them at 10 years and see what happens, who improve the productivity in terms of money. Do you have any such studies? To the best of my knowledge, I don't know. They should be able to tell us that. So it doesn't improve your productivity, but I can tell you n number of studies where it has been clearly said where a well-satisfied life does not mean the person will be a great clerk at workplace. Right? You may have a great love life, you may have a great family life. You think you will make a great clerk in your office? Not necessarily. Productivity is not linked to that. Productivity is an entirely different phenomenon. So being happy and contented at home or balanced at home or achieving a very higher spiritual plane does not automatically make you a better person at work. Work is different and work is dictated by processes. Process is driven. And if you're good at processes, you're going to achieve whatever targets that you're going to look at. You're not interested. Just because somebody is a yogi is not necessarily going to become the best great CEO. Can you do that? You would probably say, why bother me? The company would be making losses at the other end. So productivity is certainly not linked with work-life balance, number one. Number two, he was talking about, yeah, I think that's my alarm. I think with that we'll stop before we. So one concluding statement, if you do not have a clear understanding of what you need in your life, what is the purpose of your life, there can never be balance in anything. Right? And that is the reality of the world. And that is why we have these conferences. And that is why it is still a bit. So with that I conclude.
Thank you. I also thoroughly enjoyed what has been going on here. Today has been one of the best days in my life, where really the think tanks have advanced various reasons. Forget for a minute this myth and other things. We will come to that at the conclusion, concluding part of my sharing my thoughts with you. Each one advanced a viewpoint along with very solid evidence of that particular point. Now, what to take out of that is your job. There are certain things axiom. For example, 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. But this is black, this is white, it cannot be stated so firmly. There are 118 shades of gray between the black and white. It is very difficult to call something as gray, something as black. And each one has given that point so beautifully. If I summarize what they, all the 4 speakers here have talked about, Satya, Gunit, Raghavan, and Dr. Venkatesh, I find that they all have been saying, number one, you have to bloody well work. Because if you are not already born to a rich parent, and if you did not have even the intelligence to go and get a rich father-in-law, you are doomed to work. And in that difficult situation, the person, we should be unique and I should not be saying he or she. Somehow luckily finds another person, thinks all these bloody dirty buggers in my office or in my home or society, this person makes me forget all those things. It may turn out to be like a fourth peg on the bar, even in a full lifelong marriage. Okay. Or it could really be a very, very inspiring thing to do, to get married and raise a family. But once you start raising the family, the parents think it is their responsibility to make their children better than themselves. Am I right? Is there any parent that you have come across, or you yourself may be a parent, do you want your children to fail in front of you in the game that you are playing? When you are a carrom board champion, if your daughter defeats, you are proud of it and you are writing it in Facebook or writing it in Twitter. Hey, my daughter defeated me 3 times. Because that is the human urge to see their own products outshine them, do better performance. So in that, what are all the things that can distract you? It is said, if you do a small crime, say civil in nature, then law will put you behind the bars maybe for 24 hours or 24 days, whatever. But if you have committed a huge, much bigger crime, you are sent to rigorous imprisonment. Similarly, if you have anarchy, talk about spirituality, they talk about the God, this one, yoga, like all those things. So suppose you do something very bad, the bad or very bad is going to be decided by if you believe there is a God, and if the God is annoyed with you, he is giving you only simple imprisonment. What does he give you? Either an incompatible spouse in the home, or an incompetent boss in the office. However, if you have annoyed the God so badly, and the man got into the nuts, he allows it to run concurrently. So at that time, how you can never have a work-life balance? So the balance itself talks about, he says, don't lose the job, don't quit a job and go and looking out for a job, you can't negotiate. Instead, use the R&R scheme within the office. What is R&R scheme? Corporates, when they talk to the shareholders, they say it is recruitment and retaining. Your HR managers, what do they say? It is rewarding and recreation. And what does the employee say? What do you and I say? It is resign and renegotiate. But in that balance, he adores a beautiful thing. We do not want to really work, and he said you work smart. So for these two things, it made me think about it. How can I do that? If I have to do that, be it home or be it office, I must first learn to delegate. How do I delegate? I don't delegate by saying, yeah, from tomorrow you can sign the check. But for any amount more than 50 rupees, come and have my clearance. So, before delegating, you decide, you trust, you empower. It is the empowerment that you bring in the home or in the society, even with your friends. But certain things, when spoken over the place, it will not be hurting you. But the same words, if it is put on a piece of paper and left on your table, it is very, very offensive. So we have to be careful in deciding what we should do. I would say empower. If you learn how to empower, you have succeeded in life. The balancing will take care of itself. Cycling is difficult only till such time some n number of times you are breaking your knees and having the blood oozing out, and then a click of a moment, suddenly you will find that you are able to balance it. Same thing like swimming. You do not know that you can float. You will always be sinking. But at some critical point, without your own knowledge, you would have done it. And you can't claim that you learned swimming. Somehow it happened. Then you learn and enjoy the swimming. Similarly, if you master how to empower, if your assistant is so, mentor him, coach him. If the whole company can spend so much of money and in a 1 lakh employees organization, one name is just not even a pin cent in the floppy tape where the name is there. And that is says data. And they give you a chair, air condition, they travel wherever you go, 5-star hotel and all. So your own wife at home or your son at home or your assistant spend little more time, coach, mentor, allow them to make a mistake, catch them doing the right things. Catch them doing the right thing instead of catching them doing the wrong thing. When you catch them doing the right things and popularize them, publicize them, your bosses will know, hey, his assistant is better than him, so why not I elevate him and shift him elsewhere? Let me give you more money also. That is what is the trick of the balance for life. For doing all those things, we should also see how our family is run. Like, even though he is for your father, you said, no, you are for the reality. He said, in reality, even if I am absent from the home for X number of days, the family knows, the society knows, they support it. Same thing doctor also said. There is no so fundamental difference is not there. Therefore, if we know how to set a key result area for anyone, what do you think is the key result area in a big multinational company? The CEO and for the You think it is different? Targets can be different. Please understand this concept. Target can be different. Key result area is the same. Customer satisfaction is the same whether it is a fuel or whether it is a CEO. For the CEO, his customers are his immediate vice presidents, his board of directors who are funding the whole project, and the shareholders. For the fuel, his customers are the visitor and the officer, supervisor who you ask him to give a file and all. So customer satisfaction is important. Two, only customer being happy is not enough. Company also has to be happy. So that money in his own way, somebody brings the revenue, somebody cuts the cost. The third one is the feedback system. It has to be timely, it has to be meaningful. The last one is meaningful information system. If you excel in all these things, both at home and this one, all these things can be done at home. It can be. When your wife says, yesterday I told you to switch off the light before you go to your taking a bath. Today also I have to tell you that is happening. She tells you maybe because of the liberties you have given in a different voice and tone. Your boss says more or less the same thing. In office, we have different contexts here. So these are forget the tax that are being given, but these are all the basic axioms. We can't move out of it. So what shall I say? Shall I say it is real or it is a myth? Huh? Real, please raise your hands. So this few number of hands that went up, they say work-life balance leading to productivity is real. So please raise your hands, which is a myth. So the silent is the majority. Huh? No, that's voice word. Somebody raised the fourth hand also. So the silent majority will actually think mull about it. So you need not take a stand on all these things because it is not for nothing that we assemble and we spend quite a lot of time on that. So with this words, without announcing that this is a myth or a reality, I am appealing to you, think about it. Use it in the best way that you can. But empower your people, rather than increase our skills. Thank you for a wonderful evening.
Thanks, man. Thank you all. It was really a big, good debate. Now may I call upon Mr. Shivaram Atmapuri, Vice President, Advocacy and Outreach, and Mr. Arul Sitaraman, Vice President, Volunteer, to hand over the mementos to our guests.
I talked about customer satisfaction, so let me ask this question to now at least all of you answer. Was this enjoyable? Did you like it? Thank you. Thank you. Perhaps. Thank you all.